Okay. Um, I want to be thankful to God and ask God to give me strength. But I do feel special, and I find dignity in these sufferings. I'm feeling my organ just like bubbling up, and like things happening, and I don't know what's bursting, but something's happening to my organ, and at one point I know there'll be so much pain that it will be hard for me to speak. But I need to speak when I can and be thankful, because what I'm experiencing is dignified. I know that my purpose, is to do my best to help somebody else. And unfortunately, in some cases, things went too far for some people. As I mentioned, I have no doubt that this man who killed 18 people was a target individual. He reminds me of a lot of testimonies, including mine, with what he was experiencing and how things was happening. And I think it was just really in the early stage of like his targeting, and unfortunately he didn't get the information that could have helped dealing with what he was dealing with. And he lost his mind too quickly, and I think it's because the way he was already set. This is a man who was trained to be in the military. He was somebody who was very capable of shooting guns and been training for a long time with zero deployment. So you can understand that this is a person that will be faster to be active in these ways, in an aggressive way, than a regular person. This is somebody who every day trains on how to shoot. Not every day, but let's just say he's very much have a lot of expertise in that. He was an instructor in shooting. And the things he was hearing was very defamatory, derogative, and things that could just agitate anybody. Watching his video when the cops comes to his room, talks to him, you can see he was just agitated. He was tired. Matter of fact, it's funny how they were like trying to make me think. You see how he was aggressive? He was like, no, he was just thinking that people were saying these disgusting things about him, and he was a little bit frustrated. And this is how somebody who's frustrated reacts. Matter of fact, if anything, he just able to calm down. But he didn't even know what they were prepping for him. But you can see what he was saying was things I've said before. In 2020, let me see the dates of this video. In 2020, one of the first video, I think this is my 10th video, was a video called Early Event in My Targeting that made me aware something was going on. If you go there, this is what I wrote. And the dates, let me just pull the date. It was in August 2020. It's going to be close to 4 years. And as I say that, they try to rewire that somewhere else. As I'm saying that, they tell me how I'm going to be raped and tortured and how I'm being beat up. Now, God give me strength for whatever I'm going to go through, but thank you, God, and give me this dignity. I'm not perfect. I know my imperfections. And they're trying to rewire those. And I'll also explain why in a few. In this specific video, I say this in the description, right? This is my 10th video. I did not change this description here. This is my 10th, and by the way, this is in August 2020. We're in 2024. The mass shooting happened in 2023. This is my 10th video. In this video, I'm depicting an event that was meant to agitate me and try to portray me as some kind of victimizer. We know that slander, campaigns, defamations, and many other atrocious tactics are used to discredit and agitate the target individual. Unfortunately, some of the people used to participate in those tactics are acquaintances, some close friends, and even your own family members, which makes this even more negatively impactful. Early on in my targeting, I was extremely confused on why why every interaction will later on be narrated in such a dark way. It was very obvious that none of what they were trying to portray was accurate. This event was the beginning of my awareness that something was happening and somebody or a group of people were trying to create a false reality to negatively impact my life. Looking at it now, I understand better what was happening and how some of the events were turned into a stressor. I hope this story helps the target individual and they can relate to my story. And for anyone who isn't sure if they're targeted, but they're realizing since a certain time period, my time period started in late 2014. A lot of interactions are being turned into being turned into something terrible. Those tactics became more obvious as your targeting continues. My advice to any individual who believe they are at early stage of their targeting, please maintain your cool and don't feed off the paranoia. Unfortunately, I was not aware of what was going on and I became very anxious, angry, and mildly paranoid. All the emotion that they want to induce in a targeted individual. Okay. This mass shooter that just killed 18 people was experiencing the same thing. He thought they were saying things that were disturbing, derogative. He's talking about his friends, his family, and co-workers, and people he's been around for a long time, but all of a sudden start acting differently. And he became very paranoid, and to the point where he went to a place and killed 18 people, two places, and one child died. Another family and children were shot at, killing one child, but a few, I think at least one was wounded. As I'm saying that, they try to rewire me because as I'm speaking, I'm like feeling my leg and to try to make me feel the back or something. But anyways, this is how they try to disturb me. And in this video, in this description, which was on August 2020, I say and tell anybody who's watching this who thinks this was a target individual, please do not maintain cool. Maintain cool because this reaction is what they want from you. And unfortunately, I was not that cool at the time because I didn't know what was happening and I was getting agitated, paranoid, angry. Okay. Now, I made videos to also help people, if I could, make sure that somebody who's can calm down. And I always say that please do not harm others, do not harm yourself. That's what they want. And I was trying to practice this, what I was preaching, and I think it worked on this point because that's what I've been praying for. That I don't lose my mind and do something to these bottom feeders. Now, that makes me, I guess, somebody who's dignified even more. But I've said this, I'm not perfect, I know my imperfection. And I don't want to present myself as a saint. The reality is just this low life has become low life. They've chosen to go the easy route, partake in something that is disgusting, and now try to counter the reality of what they're involved in. They try to counter the reality that this man who killed 18 people was a target individual, even though it sounds exactly like so many other target individuals and too specific to being a target individual. While me, little old me, is trying to prevent people, at least the way I can, by giving that information that they are trying to get you to be this paranoid and angry and agitated. Keep your cool. They get theirs. They're bottom feeders, they're nothings. Let them be there, this trash. You're dignified. They have their death the way they need to die. Don't dirty your hands. They're trash. Whatever they're gonna watch you go through, it's better to die in these horrible ways than live these indignified ways. I'm not a saint. I'm not this prophet. This was said in 2020. This mass shooter, if you go watch the tape when he's talking to these cops, before he was taken to the psych ward, because when he was in New York, he thought these people were saying things, his friends, quote unquote, were saying these disturbing things. He got agitated, almost got aggressive. They called the cops on him. And he said, listen, these people, everywhere I go, I'm hearing these conversations about me, these things, and everywhere I go, I just want to be myself again. He's agitated. He's like, he's not saying I want to be myself again. I want to be just private. I want to live a private life again. Everywhere I go, they're watching me. They're looking at me this way. They're saying these things. It's like I used to be invisible. Now, like everybody's what. Everybody's acting certain ways. Something's happening here. Like something that I think there's something online about me. Typical target individual situation. So specific. He'll go to a new job. They have this conversation. They will say something within the conversation. The way he even described it, I'm like, oh my gosh. And yes, this man is a person who definitely was going to be aggressive. They knew that. Super aggressive. But this is somebody who's been training to shoot guns forever. He's very accurate in his gun shooting, and what you expect. You push this kind of person who has that many guns, who's been shooting guns forever, who's been training to go to war, never been to war. What do you think? He thinks all these people are saying all these nasty things. He's going to react. Easy call. They obviously orchestrated that. You understand how things happen in real time. When I'm still here being tortured and tormented, I'll go back to things I wrote 2020. My point is, it's easy to see what's going to happen. For me, I just ask God to help me go through all these horrible things before my death. I'm not scared of death. This is one thing I have in common with this trash. If they watch me die, what do I care what they watch? I would never want to even watch their life, their death. I don't care. They would tell me, you watch me suffer. I was like, oh my gosh, I would never. If I had to choose to live life, watching you suffer, you think this is what I would want to do? Trash. Of course not. Even if I hate you, I would want to go do something in my life. What? No. But I pray that they continue to live this life, because I don't want them to start living a dignified life. I want them to live this trashy life that they don't know is that trashy. They can make themselves believe they're God. Now, to counter what I just said there, I said for me, my targeting, I'll give it late 2014. When I mean late, I mean like by summer of 2014. And I knew something was going on. Something was weird. It's just something started changing around me. Just something weird. I don't know. Something just was off. Like, at least that's when I started noticing it. Maybe before that it was happening, but like beginning of summer, by fall of 2014, I knew it was just like, oof, like something was just weird around. Like, I don't know, like something just, you could feel something happening around you, but you don't know what it is. People at work were acting weird. Like, there's something that's just, I remember, like, even before that, there was this guy who, like, just, I knew. But by summer of 2014, I knew something was off. People were looking at me a little differently at work. Like, it's just like, and at first I was like, maybe, it's like, Then I used to see people of my race and stuff, but like I knew something was off. It's funny because one of the person who were looking at me in a way that was like scared is somebody who all along was putting hidden cameras in the locker room. Anyways, but I knew something was off. And to counter that is because 2014, December of 2014, I followed this person. I keep talking about, I follow her on Snapchat. I was on Snapchat, like many people that are in my friend group, and follow some girl called Ocean. Now, I follow her thinking this is some adult, like some young adults, maybe in college. At that point, I'm in my mid-late 20s. And so I'm thinking that's like probably some college student or something like that. I'm not thinking twice. She looked like an adult to me. And she looks, and I think she was looking at to like a, she looked like an adult to most people. She looks way older than her age. I follow her, never talk to her. It's like, okay, this is some college student that I follow. And that was that. And they finding out later on, like when I'm in Target, it's like, no, when you follow her, she was not an adult yet. She was up, like she was still like underage. She was still like she wasn't 18 yet. But I follow her on Snapchat. Never even interacted with her in my. I never had not even a hello, nothing. Just following her stories, and her stories are just her traveling the world, going this place. Like there's nothing like nothing. Like there's nothing that is like inappropriate. She is just her living life, traveling, going this and there. They even try to look for like something. Now, was she wearing a bikini? I was like, oh, probably at some point, but she was just her living her life, nothing too crazy. Maybe like every once in a while, so race a car. And they're like, no, you see, that's when this targeting started with you. It started in 2014 because they saw that you follow. I'm like, oh God, please. And to confuse me, because my brain, my memories are just like, oh, like timelines are just kind of like morphing around, like confused. They try to make me think. By 2015, I already knew something really was happening. 2014 is like when I was like suspicious, like, okay, something is happening, and start happening. Like, and toward the end of 2014, it became more obvious. 2015, I knew something really weird was happening. Really weird. Like at that point, I was like, oh gosh. And they tried to make me think when somebody came that used to be somebody I used to be had like some kind of relationship, and she was acting super weird, and I couldn't remember. My brain was when was it, like 2014, 2015? Like my brain is just so blurred up, and because that's what they do. And they're trying to make me think it was 2014 so they can trick me and be like, oh, you see, you thought it was 2014 but it was 2015, to try to confuse me. And I'm like, okay, this is a typical trick. This is how they like to trick me and to make me feel like I'm wrong. They purposely make me think something is like this because the truth is like that. So they will make me have this thoughts like, oh, this is why. Okay, I get it. It's a typical trick they've done to me. It's what they do all the time to prove me wrong. They make me think this way so they can prove me wrong. So they make me think wrong so they can prove me wrong. It's just typical things they do. It's a game they play, a lot of mind games of that nature. But I've said this thing so many times, it sounds so familiar. But the reason why they do this is because they are trying to make me think that, what's happening to me today. Because family is involved. You heard what I said there. Like even your mother was involved. It's like, this is typical. They involve family. You're going to hear family members, sometimes like close family member, like mothers, father, like family members, like literally close to you, will be participant. Some of them think they're part of this, like, they feel like they're really in this investigative, this other incentives. You heard what I was saying. This is in 2020. Right? And so I was saying that almost 4 years ago. As I'm saying, let me see exactly what I said to just confirm. I'm hearing the perps saying all these things in this tonality to try to to agitate me, which is typical things they do. But I say here, close friends, even your own family member, which makes this even more negatively impactful. I'm targeting, unfortunately. Yes, so this even became awareness happening, somebody group. Targeting. Oh, I think it's another video where I specifically say that there's a video called there's a video where I have it's a video called using family to torment you. And so here, oh, nope, not this one. It's even way before that. No, well, not way before. Another one called family involvement, cutting your safety net, typical tactic. And here, in my description, this is let me see, August 30, 2020. This is what I say here. This video is my 11th. It's not the 10th, it's the 11th. In this video, I'm talking about my experience with my family and how they've become part of my targeting. Please note this video is longer than my usual videos because the story of my own family being part of my targeting has been the most betrayal act in my targeting. One common story with target individual is the participation of family members in the harassment, gaslighting of the target individual. The tactics of cutting a target individual from their loved one is common, and sometimes they are able to lure utilizing different methods. Defamatory campaigns, financial benefits, blackmailing, authority figures used to provide credibility in the defamatory claim. My own close family helped with the targeting by constantly trying to get me on the defensive and applying irrational gaslighting on me. When I started questioning them on why they were acting so bizarrely while my work and love life was going badly, I was told that I was being paranoid and I should go see a doctor. These common tactics of using mental illness to try to discredit the target individual is a go-to tactic. Although I was not aware of being a target individual, I knew something terrible was happening to me, especially when they were kept trying to push me to go see a therapist. I don't think there's anything wrong with going to the therapist, but I knew they were trying to discredit my suspicions. Having your own family member as perp is very demoralizing. And as we know, this program has only one purpose, and it's breaking you down in all the way possible. This is why many have ended up harming themselves or others. This was made in August 20th, I think, 2020. This mass shooting happened in October 2023. He believed his family was involved, and they were making sure to say that he was hearing voices and this and that, and making sure that perhaps he goes see somebody to help. Now, were they really participant, or were the V2K involved in that? I'm sure V2K was involved in that, because with V2K they can make you think that somebody's saying something that they're not saying. Then you go back, and I know that because I have had recordings of things and did not hear what I just heard. immediately. So, um, I'm sure some people said those things he heard, but I'm sure there was a lot of times where what he was hearing was not being said. And by the way, this V2K can, I remember, now I know this V2K. I remember I had a roommate saying something, but her head was all the way in the fridge, and I still heard it. And I was like, how can I hear this? How would I be able to hear somebody, like, so, they also use V2K in ways when you think you hear their voices, but it will not be possible to be able to hear somebody say something like that, this whisper in so far, or like such a. So my point is, he also believed the involvement of family members was happening to him, and the people he cared for, he thought all of them were involved in that. The same thing for me. But thankfully, finding out about target individual helped me understanding that they are truly involving family members. And not all the cases, but in a lot of cases, you hear family members can participate. And as I said, there's many ways, I guess, to involve them. And you got to understand, this is governmental-led program. So imagine somebody who is somebody with level of authority saying this about you. It's easy to like go with it. But then you find out this authority is actually, okay, this is what this is about. But then I'm sure it's too late. Now, just to wrap up this, there'll be more mass shootings. There'll be more target individual. Not even just any mass shooting. Of course, there'll be more mass shooting, but let me be specific. There'll be more mass shooting from target individuals who lose their mind and cause mass shooting, because this is designed to do that. It's designed to push somebody to do this insanity. I wrote this in 2020. There was already mass shooting that I knew about, but I said it before, they want you to harm yourself or harm others. And sometimes that comes together. For example, if I was an aggressive individual, they tell me all these horrible things I'm going to go through, okay? Why would I wait to endure these horrible things they tell me I'm going to go through, when I can just end these things immediately? And if I don't want to do that to myself, I've seen some perps that if I wanted, could do something terrible to. And I'm sure they will let me do that. And when I mean terrible, I mean harming them to the point of perhaps killing them as they try to change into their nastiness. And then by doing that, it will be for sure the end of me. And those people would be definitely people I know are participants in my targeting. By doing that means everything will be over. I'll get to the end point quickly, instead of being tortured, tormented, broken down, and then die, as they said that I'm going to go through. And I know it's going to be true because they've been humiliated by reality. And these people have this tendency of creating this facade that they can no longer stand on. It's over. Because the stories that they come up with of how they proved it is just humiliating coming from these people. Because you find out the entities running this program, while they were investigating me, they were being ranked for certain things. Now, the way they try to counter this, like I said, in 2014, I followed this person called Ocean. Is in late 2014, December 2014. Never talked to this person, never interacted with her, never don't. We'll see her stories, go through her stories. She's flying somewhere else, she's going somewhere, she's racing a car, like just typical things. Living actually a very exciting life, very fun life. Looking from outside, looking in, she looked like she's having a fun life. She's traveling the world, she's going. But honestly, thought she was an adult because she looked like an adult. Even today, I'm surprised that she even looks younger today for some reason than when I followed her. I was shocked to find out she was not an adult. So what they try to say is like, you see, that was like a way to pay 2 figures of what? Stupidity. This is stupid. You're gonna have somebody who looks like an adult and be like, that see, that's you thought she was an adult. We got you. But of course I know it's not true. They're just using that as a way to make themselves be like, now we were investigating, we went through your brain and we saw this is bullshit. But now, did they use that as a way to be like, no, you see why you follow this person, how old is it? I'm sure they did this. Defamation is used all the time. Or to create a defamatory narrative. They could easily use that. Even though I never interacted with this person, I don't know nothing about this person. All I did is sing the story of her life on Snapchat. On Snapchat, where everybody I know was on Snapchat. On Snapchat. And to them it's like, oh, you on Snapchat? Yeah, me and everybody. In 2014. And so they're like, no, you see, your parents were involved because they said they saw you beat me. I was like, oh, please. They wanted to push me into insanity. You heard they were trying to make me go see a therapist. And so, that's cool. And so, they knew that their goal was to push me into insanity and lose my mind. Matter of fact, my mother, she acted so much, and now looking back at her, I'm like, I can only imagine if she's watching me, the things I know. But somehow God works in ways. They were already creating these defamatory storylines, like, oh no, I'm doing that for kids. I could hear her like say some weird things. I didn't get it. I didn't put things two and two together until later on. Because I remember when she said something about, for the kids, we can't do, like, for. And then I thought she was talking about a sibling of mine, because I had a sibling going through certain circumstances, and she was taking care of kids. And she should not have been taking care of kids because she had issues going on that would be a dangerous thing to kids. And so I thought that's what she was talking about. I was like, yeah, you're right. For kids, you shouldn't be. And she was still, I was like, no, not that. Like, she was like looking at her. I'm like, what? My sibling was getting herself intoxicated while driving kids, young kids. And she was trying to block that. I said, no, not that. And she was talking about this false, this defamatory thing they were doing for me. Now, in my memories, they're changing the memories. So the way they make me have this disgusting, disturbing thing, they're putting that in my memories then. To be like, no, that's what she was seeing. She was seeing what you're experiencing today. No, and falsify my memories. While in reality, she was doing things to push me into insanity. To the point where I had to confront her. She was doing the same thing that this man was saying, that he lost his mind, who killed 18 people. I will ask her, what's going on with you? She's like, no, nothing. But and I remember when she said something, that's why I gotta say, you have to be strong, but understand there's a time for everything. She was pushing me to go see a therapist, but she was laughing about it. It's like, oh, you should go talk to your sister about a therapist. She needs this therapist. I'm like, okay, I'll go talk to her. There's nothing wrong with going to a therapist. I think it's very helpful. Unfortunately, my sister attempted something, tried something that's bad. But my mother was laughing about having me talk to my sister about a therapist. She completely lived this alter reality, but reality hit her. And I'm the one talking to my sibling, telling her to live life day by day. Just while all along they were trying to push me to be on this bed or even gone. And I'm the one that is being driven into that insanity. Tell my sibling, just take it slowly. Take it slowly. And today, and after August 19, 2019, when this rewired my brain, I remember her trying to show me kids. She tried to show me kids just so they can force me to get sexual stimulations. And like, now I see that she was like, oh, now it's so embarrassing and humiliating that I'm being validated that they have been rewiring people in these disgusting ways. And the entities investigating with this sophisticated technology have had ongoing issues. Matter of fact, that during that time when I almost lost my mind because I was wondering why my mother and siblings were acting this way, Child Protective Services was ranking these people for having some of the most child porn trafficked within this network. The next year, a bill was created to attempt to limit the amount of child porn was being trafficked using the DoD network. The same entities working in this program where they manipulate the brain in this disgusting ways. Mapping. Pairing. The same year that my sibling tried to do something to herself. It's humiliating. But, like I said, everything has its time. God give me strength. This trash out here telling me, knockout. You're going to be stabbed this. Yes, all these horrible things are going to happen. But I'm telling you, I'm not a prophet. Let me just say this. You're going to think I'm a prophet. You are living, eating, sleeping this disgusting, cowardly, disgusting life. You have dumbed yourself down, this purpose. For so long, continuously. Lie to yourself that you're in some kind of war to try to make yourself believe this is normalizing it. You are truly being a bottom feeder in every way. You've been humiliated in ways that are so magical. Testimonies from all around the world. One of the largest mass shooting in the world, in the United States, just happened. A top 10 one, saying exactly the things I've said at this point 4 years ago. When I say 4, boy, they try to make me think. It's like, remember what you did as a kid. Guess what? There's a testimony of a woman seeing a child as young as 4 years old and her 5-year-old sister being sexually tortured via this technology. I'm saying these things 4 years ago. Oh, by the way, they're like, oh, but your mother saw what you did when you were a kid. And this is, you see, I'm like a kid. That year they're talking about was the year I lost my important person in my family. And I remember crying on my mother's stomach, holding her, saying I wanted to stay there. She has an idea how young I was and how much of a child I was when this act of a child would happen. She held me on her stomach. That's how young I was. I was so sure that my head was laying on her stomach. You understand? So she understand the child like I was and how a kid at that age can do this impulsive thing. Matter of fact, I remember when she was showing me a picture of this now young adult, I believe, I'm not sure. And I'm looking at this family and I'm like, oh, look at them, they're all grown up. Oh, none of these things that they try to make me experience today. Even today when I'm seeing her as an adult, this person that they say are traumatized, they forced me to get stimulation. But when they were showing me her, I'm looking at her, I'm like, oh, look at them. Oh, they're all grown up. Because that moment of a child never came back in my brain. Matter of fact, it was at that point completely forgotten because it was such an impulsive moment of a child that my mother hugged that it never came back in my brain. Now, to find out that these people are involved in a program that actually torture children. They torture children. I'm listening to testimonies of how children are being suffocated. How a mother and her young child are being used as test subjects. How a whole family of five children, inclusive of a baby, is getting tortured. It's crazy. And they hear now it's a study. Guess what? Who's actually studying? This studies about how much child porn this entity is studying. It's trafficking child porn. So not only I'm validated that these people are renowned to have issues with pedophilia in these entities, they are renowned to rewire the brain in these pedophilia ways. They're renowned to harm children in ways that you can't even comprehend. And they're renowned to push people to lose their mind, to cause mass shooting where children have gotten hurt. Some of them died. Listen, this trash watching me die in whatever way, I'm so thankful that I didn't have to live life like them. Like, it doesn't take much to do what they do. If you see who's talking to, it's like a movie. Weak, low-life, childlike person, like, this is really who you want to lie your conscience toward? This is bravery to you? Target individuals, stay strong. But I'm not a prophet. I'm not a genius. But I guarantee you, these people, they dumb themselves down to a point where they can't even see the obviousness because they enjoy this intoxicating feeling they get out of this. Seeing us die in different ways, and we can do nothing about anything that can be done to us. Them feel like they're special when they can't even say certain things. They're so embarrassing. You know, me following this person that I had no idea who she was. They can't say the name of a pedophile that the organization that put me in this program donated money to after the allegation of him picking up kids as young as 14 years old. After that, the people who donate money to him are the people who put me in this program. And this trash can't even say his name. How much more? So, I said all this. These people want to still delude themselves in this false reality. There's a lot of sign that perhaps there'll be a time for them. But not today. Today they can enjoy this as the brave, daring people that they are. But to all my target individual, please let this low life be this low life. They get theirs. It's not for you to do anything to them. Let them handle. Life is gonna come the way it needs to come for them. This trash are nobodies, coward and low life that speak very fiercely remotely. Let them talk to you in front of you like that. They have their whole life flash. To all my target individuals, stay strong.